Hello, everyone. We chose to do a broadcast on League of Legends Worlds 2021. For anyone unfamiliar, Worlds is the yearly international tournament for League of Legends. It is the ending of all regional tournaments, which wraps everything up. At Worlds, teams from all major regions and some smaller regions compete to be crowned world champions. Worlds has two sections: group stage and quarterfinal brackets. First teams will qualify for Worlds by placing well in the regional bracket. Then all qualifying teams will compete in the round robin format group stage of Worlds for a chance to move on to the quarterfinals. For a team to qualify, they need to be one of two teams at the top of their group of four. Each team will play against all other teams in the group at least twice, meaning all teams will have 6 games played unless there are tiebreakers necessary.
Broadcast we chose was Worlds Groups Day 4. Before Worlds Groups Day 4, Cloud9 was down 0-3 in their group. This put them in last place in a group of 4 where only the top 2 teams advanced. The story of Cloud9's miracle run would become the narrative of Day 4. Casters in production decided to focus and heavily emphasize on Cloud9 and their miracle run, putting a greater focus on the importance of Cloud9 games. There was a lot of talk about Cloud9. Analysts answered questions like what they needed to do to make it out of the group, speculation on whether they could do it or not, and what it would take for Cloud9 to win each game. At the beginning of the day, production gave these great graphics that are very informative, telling the audience the standings for the different teams of the group. When we get into draft phase, we can see a graphic of the two teams with a smaller graphic below displaying the picks and bans. The main screen then begins panning to players and coaches during the pick and ban phase. Meanwhile, the analysts are busy talking about each pick and hypothesizing which team is going to win based on them. They also do in-depth analysis that helps other people who aren't well versed understand. The broadcast then pans to the coaches handshaking and walking off stage, signaling the beginning of the game. Now we get into game, and the most undervalued part of production is easily the replay system. The replay system is the best part of the broadcast because it replays the best and most hyped moments of the game. Usually these moments are so chaotic that someone can't hope to get every bit of information the first time watching. Uh, this is where the replay system comes in, and where commentators talking during the replay can help an audience better understand all the important things going on. An interesting part of the replay system is production never plays a replay that covers up live action going on. So this perfect timing is due to um, uh, production pre-watching the game seconds in advance of the live broadcast to let production know whether or not it's free to play a replay.
Right after games, you can see the team's reaction to the match. You can just feel the excitement of winning or the defeat from losing. During the time between games, commentators talk about players and their stats, their history domestically, and their overall performance in the tournament. After the game, they talk about their favorite plays from the past match. There's also a short break counting down the time until the post match interview starts. This is accompanied by highlights from the most recent game. During the player interview with the MVP of the winning team, the interviewer asks open ended questions that make it very easy for the players to answer. An example is: tell me about the preparation you had for this game and the mistakes you have to fix in the future. The player interview is likely to buy time for the next teams to set up while also giving the audience an in depth look at the game from the player's perspective. After the post match interview, there's a smooth transition into the next game showing the teams from the next match walking out on stage and getting ready. The pick ban phase begins and the cycle repeats itself throughout the day. Now we can talk about the casters. The casters love laughing and making jokes. The casters of the event can be serious and funny, switching between instantaneously. This helps the broadcast be both serious and funny, giving the audience an informative look at the game while also being approachable and welcoming for the more casual audience. During the day, having the casters rotate between the 6 hours of matches kept the energy and commentary fresh and exciting. Casters talk about the standings and how things are going to pan out in the future of the tournament. They promote music, talk about the player's performance, throw in a ton of jokes, and incorporate meme culture. Throughout games, they made it way more engaging by bringing lots of contagious excitement while also explaining things that casual or new fans may miss or not understand. The analysts on the analyst panel usually stick more towards an informative style, but they don't shy away from laughing. This makes them both informative and entertaining to watch. They focus on one player after the match and highlight their performance throughout the game. This doesn't really need to be said, but it's always nice that they have visuals on screen that apply to what they are talking about. The analysis and given history of a player makes what just happened feel a lot more impactful and meaningful, and also gives an extra dimension to the entertainment factor.
Now we can actually get into the games played during the day. The first game being FPX versus DK. DK won, putting them at 4-0. The next game after that would be Cloud9 versus Rogue, where Cloud9 would win, going 1-3, starting the Snowball and Miracle Run. After that, we have another Cloud9 game where it's Cloud9 versus FPX, where Cloud9 again wins, putting them at 2-3, tying them up with FPX for uh, second place. Next, we have DK versus Rogue, where DK won, putting them at 5-0. And then Rogue versus FPX, where Rogue won, putting them at 2-4. Now, this next match for Cloud9 was very important because if they won it, they would immediately beat FPX and Rogue. But this next match was against DK, who went undefeated in group stage so far. So we go into Cloud9 versus DK, where DK wins, going 6-0 and going undefeated in the group stage. This puts Cloud9 at 2-4, tied with both FPX and Rogue, meaning we have a three-way tiebreaker. The way production decided to handle the three-way tiebreaker was that the team with the fastest wins would advance, while the other two would have to play another tiebreaker before then playing the team that advanced previously. Cloud9 had the fastest wins by far, so they got to advance, while Rogue and FPX had to play another game. This game would be won by Rogue, putting them at 3-4 and winning the tiebreaker against FPX. And moving on to fight Cloud9 in the tiebreaker to make it out of the group and move on to the next stage of the tournament, where Cloud9 would come out ahead and win 3-4. This would be the end of Cloud9's Miracle Run, but it would not go without praise throughout the day by casters and analysts. And production did their very best to highlight Cloud9's performance throughout the day, but all three, or casters, analysts, and production, all did their part, making sure that the viewer wouldn't forget or miss Cloud9's great day 4.
Overall, this broadcast did an amazing job portraying the miracle run by C9 and sharing the excitement of NA's first tiebreaker win against EU, as well as Cloud9's first time winning a tiebreaker on the international stage.